The storm outside roared like a wounded beast, hammering against the tall glass windows of the military hospital. Inside, the night shift janitor mopped the endless corridor under the cold, humming lights. He was quiet, thin, and tired, the kind of man no one noticed twice. But tonight, as he lifted his head and met the eyes of the arriving female general, stern, decorated, and feared by all, something unspoken broke the air between them. Their gazes locked for a fraction of a second. Then, in a voice trembling with truth and years of silence, the janitor said the words that froze her heart. "My daughter has your tattoo." The mop dropped. The corridor went silent. And in that single moment, everything she believed about her past began to crumble. Samuel Reed had been the night janitor at the Central Military Hospital for nearly 7 years. He came in quietly, worked through the night, and left before sunrise. He never caused trouble, never asked for raises, and never spoke about his life. All anyone knew was that he was a single father raising a little girl named Lily. She was 6, bright, curious, and always waiting by the gate when her father returned from his shift, her tiny hands clutching a worn-out teddy bear. Samuel's world was small but peaceful. His entire universe revolved around that child. Yet, deep inside, he carried something heavy, a memory buried under layers of guilt and silence. On the other side of that same hospital was General Amelia Carter, a woman known across the country for her strength, discipline, and an iron will that could bend the toughest soldiers into obedience. She was respected, feared, and admired, but never understood. Because what no one saw behind her medals was the ghost of her past, a choice she made long ago, one that haunted her every time she looked in the mirror. That night, she wasn't supposed to be there. The general was visiting an injured officer from her unit. But fate, or something deeper, had other plans. When Samuel saw her step out of the elevator, her presence struck him like lightning. Her face was sharper now, her expression colder, but that mark on her right wrist, the small tattoo of a crescent moon with 2 stars, made his breath stop. He had seen that same mark every night when he tucked his daughter into bed. It was faint but there, on Lily's tiny wrist. He froze, his mop trembling in his hand. For a moment, he doubted his own eyes. But when Amelia's gaze turned toward him, he knew. He whispered before he could stop himself. "My daughter has your tattoo." Amelia's heart skipped a beat. She turned sharply, eyes narrowing, her soldier's instincts kicking in. "What did you just say?" she demanded, her voice low but edged like a blade. Samuel realized his mistake. I'm sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean." But she was already moving toward him, eyes locked, searching his face for something familiar. And then she saw it, a small scar above his eyebrow, one she had seen before, many years ago, under very different skies. Her mind raced back to a time she'd buried long ago, a war zone, a medical camp, and a man who had risked his life to save hers. Samuel. But that was impossible. He was supposed to be gone. The world around her blurred. The lights flickered. And for the first time in years, General Amelia Carter felt fear, not from the battlefield, but from the truth trying to claw its way out. Amelia demanded answers. The next morning, she ordered a quiet background check on the janitor, no records of military service, no known family history, just a file so clean it felt erased. But her gut told her otherwise. She found him again during his break, sitting outside the hospital near the children's ward, sharing a sandwich with his daughter. Lily had big brown eyes and a laugh that could light up darkness itself. She was missing her front tooth and talking non-stop about stars and stories her father told her before bed. Amelia couldn't stop watching her. When Lily reached for the sandwich, the sleeve of her sweater slipped down, revealing that same crescent moon tattoo. Amelia's breath caught. Her throat tightened. 12 years ago, in a classified operation overseas, she had been part of a mission that ended in chaos. She was captured and injured. A local medic had saved her life. During that long, uncertain night, in a moment of raw humanity, they both knew they might not live till dawn. They had promised each other that if either survived, they'd mark that moment, with a crescent moon and 2 stars, symbolizing life, love, and fate. When she was rescued, she searched for him for months, but reports said he never made it out. Now, sitting just a few feet away from her, was his daughter, with her tattoo. Samuel noticed her watching. He stood, his expression calm but sad. "You remember now, don't you?" he said softly. Amelia's eyes welled with tears she didn't let fall. "You survived?" He nodded. Barely. They told me you didn't. There was silence, thick, heavy, full of everything they couldn't say. He looked down at Lily. She was born a few years later. Her mother passed. I raised her alone. Never wanted to disturb your world. But when I saw you last night..." He paused, voice breaking. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. Amelia knelt before Lily, trying to speak through trembling lips. "Hi, sweetheart. That's a beautiful tattoo you have." Lily smiled. "Daddy says it means love that never dies." Tears finally spilled down Amelia's cheeks. She touched the mark on her wrist, and then Lily's, as if bridging years of lost time. For the first time, the unshakable general broke. And Samuel, the man who had carried his silence for years, finally exhaled. Days later, Amelia arranged for Samuel's file to be reviewed. It turned out he had been one of the unsung heroes who saved dozens during the war, his records buried in classified archives. The janitor became a decorated veteran, but he didn't care about the medals. All he cared about was his daughter, and the woman who now visited her every week, reading bedtime stories, laughing softly, and making up for lost years. The final scene shows the three of them at a small park bench at sunset, Lily drawing stars in the sand, Samuel smiling quietly, and Amelia watching them both with a peace she had never known. Sometimes, fate doesn't bring people together when they want. It waits until the moment when they need each other the most. And for Amelia and Samuel, that moment had finally come. Life has a way of reuniting hearts that were meant to find each other, no matter how many years, wars, or walls stand between them.